Welcome to the Credit Card BS podcast. My name is Sean. I'm the UC Berkeley graduate that created and taught the university-sponsored course on credit card rewards. Today, I'm joined with a very special guest, as well as my co-host, Sherwin.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sherwin. I'm a Stanford student who's really into the credit card points miles travel hobby. So today we have a very special guest on the Credit Card BS podcast, and we are going to talk about military credit card benefits. So Jaden, why don't you introduce yourself for us?
Hi everyone, I'm Jaden. I'm a 19-year-old cadet at the United States Airforce Academy, and I'm just here to talk about the military side of the credit card game, as well as just starting out, because I'm only 19 years old, just starting out the credit card game as a college student. And also just a disclaimer real quick, my views today are personal and do not reflect those of the United States Air Force Academy, United States Air Force, Department of Defense, or the U.S. government in any way. I'm just here to help support any military members who are watching this and provide them with some of my personal insights.
Awesome. So why don't we start with some background about military credit card benefits. I think there are specific laws that govern lending and financial aspects for military members. And could you tell us about those and who qualifies for these provisions?
Yes, of course. So there are two main laws that govern this area. That's the MLA and the SCRA. So the SCRA actually applies to loans and debt you accrued before entering the service. So credit cards, home loans, and stuff like that. Whereas MLA applies to those currently serving, stands for Military Lending Act. I think it was enacted in 2006 by Congress. And basically it's somewhat vague wording actually. It basically states that credit card companies can't charge egregious fees, and it caps your APR at 36%, which is still extremely high. But basically Chase and Amex interpret this very generously, as well as US Bank, Citibank, and they just don't charge military annual fees at all on personal credit cards. So this only applies to active duty service members. So if you are a cadet at the service academies, that applies to me. I'm in the Air Force. So you are active duty covered by MLA, and any previous debt you accrued also by SCRA.
That's really interesting. So you're saying for any of the premium credit cards, for any of these major banks on the personal side, you can get the annual fee waived. So does this work towards multiple of the same card?
Yes, it works towards any personal card you have. Whenever you apply, it automatically, Chase and Amex both are able to check. There's a thing called the MLA database that military members can check themselves to see if they're in. It just runs your social, sees if you're in the military, and you qualify and all your fees are waived.
It's real cool. And I assume you do get all the benefits of the card. It's not like a watered down version of the product.
Yes, it's just the complete card, everything included with it. It's awesome.
Okay, so given this amazing perk, tell us a little bit about your credit card setup so far and how you've taken advantage of this.
Yeah, so I actually started out, my grandmother put me as an authorized user on her Citi card, and that card has been open before I was born. So my credit history is older than I am. And then after that, the day I turned 18, I got the Discover It student cashback card, and then the USAA cashback card a month after that I kind of regret. And then a couple months after that, the Amex Platinum, and after that, the Hilton Aspire, after that, the Delta Sky Miles Gold Business from Amex, and then the Chase Sapphire Reserve finally just last month.
That is quite a setup for a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Definitely see the annual fee heavy setup, which totally makes sense given that. If I was in the military, I'd probably getting 10 platinum cards. So
no, I think what's cool is normally
yeah.
with the high annual fee cards, you have to ask yourself, oh, do the credits justify it? Or are the credits too annoying to use? Is it worth, with the high annual fee, high credits? But for you, probably, I'm guessing, the higher that annual fee, the better, because that probably means there's more credits, which don't have out-of-pocket costs for do you feel like you're able to use all the credits, or is it not as big of a priority because you don't have to be justifying the annual fee? I'm curious about your mindset with that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do use all of the credits, but that being said, for most people, they aren't going to be able to just cycle through, and that's fine if you're in the military, because there's really no pressure to use them given you're paying $0 for the whole setup. But I am going down to Dana Point, California this next week with some of my friends just on that Aspire free night certificate. So that's pretty awesome, and I paid $0 for that. So definitely a lot of use out of the setup, and there's no risks to it. So
that's insane. So what do you think your strategy is going to be going forward? Are you tempted to just keep opening platinum cards, because Amex has the 10 charge card limit, so you could open quite a few of them. Yes, it would hurt your 524 score, but you'd be netting quite a significant sum in credits. So is that what are you thinking about doing going forward?
Yeah, so I do have a lot of cards planned out, and again, I'm not really worried about annual fees or anything. But as of right now, I was recently looking into the U.S. Bank Altitude Reserve, but again, my velocity is extremely high, so that could be I might have to wait a bit on that one. But I am trying to stay near 524. I actually am at 524 right now. And I'm looking at some Chase cards, World of Hyatt maybe, IHG, and some of the Southwest cards.
Those sound really good. For you probably want to shoot for hotel cards would be really nice. You probably want to shoot for the high annual fee ones, like the Bonvoy Brilliant or something. The $95 hotel cards are really nice for most people. I really like them, but for you, that annual fee is not as it's not moving the needle.
We gotta step it up.
Yeah.
I think
I'm curious about your actually, Sean, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think one of the tough things, the painful things, is that you have to really care about 524 now and your velocity, because as much as it's probably tempting to just max out Amex, because Amex is so easy with approvals that you could just keep getting their cards. You probably want to optimize the other issuers as well, because if you get 10 Amex cards, then you're locked out of everything for 2 years. But if you go to the other issuers first, but it's kind of painful because as you're kind of taking your time and going through these other issuers, you're that's time that you could have been earning those sweet platinum credits on 4 more platinum cards. So is that tougher? And then I think it's probably something tough to go through. But what do you think on that?
Yeah, it definitely is really annoying at times to have to try to stay below 524 while also having this whole world of no annual fee cards that have so many benefits open to you. And when I look at it from my perspective, and this is what I'd say to anyone in the military is and anyone in the credit card game, of course, is you need to analyze your setup based on how your lifestyle is. And right now, I just got home yesterday from the academy, so I'm on break right now. And I travel a lot, twice a month, within the U.S. because I don't really go outside the U.S. because I have to do a bunch of paperwork for that. But traveling a ton, so using the Amex Lounge, and I don't know if anyone out there has ever been to the Denver American Express Centurion Lounge, but I guarantee you about 30% of that lounge is active duty military, and we take up so much space, and they literally can recognize us whenever we walk in because we use it every month. But yeah, everyone will probably be mad at us for taking up that whole space, but yeah, definitely using the lounge is a big thing, and all the cadets always talk about it at the academy, you need to get an Amex Platinum. So now it's 4,000 people in one place with an Amex Platinum. So
that's cool. And do you mostly travel for leisure or for school/work? What's your general pattern, I guess?
Yeah. So, just to go into what the academy is a bit, it's basically college with some military in it. So if you know West Point, it's basically the Air Force's version of that. So we're mainly in school. So when I'm traveling, that's when I'm going home for break, or when I'm flying out to Indiana because my girlfriend lives out there. So I fly out to Indiana, and I also do travel, I guess, kind of for work, but also just with the Air Force for certain things, and also for competitions and stuff like that. So I am actually, if this is actually a fun fact for some people in the military out there, if you're on TDY, which is temporary duty station, the government has a website where you plug in all your travel information called DTS. And in there, even though you're not the one paying for your flights and stuff, you can use your frequent flyer numbers and they give you points for it. So I stayed at the IHG in New York and just plugged in my IHG account, made an IHG account, plugged it in, and just got some points for it. So pretty cool hack for military out there if you're traveling.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool hack. And the plus, you can also get hotel statuses very easily with these hotel cards for which you do not pay the annual fee. So I think there's a lot of potential upside for sure. I do want to go back to the 524 thing. Curious, because normally when people start out, the recommended strategy is to start with chase cards so they don't get locked out. It sounds like based on your setup you described to us that you went for Amex first. Was this a conscious decision that you made? How did you decide to do that, or is that the strategy you would recommend?
So looking back on it, I definitely have some regrets in my setup, and that the Amex Plat is actually not one of them. And I know a lot of people in the credit card game are like, you should wait to get the Amex Platinum because like it's $700. But for me, obviously, I'm using that like every time I travel, and it doesn't cost anything to me, so I'm gonna get that. But looking at my setup here, I mean, I probably would have gotten maybe 2 Amex cards and got to like 324 first, and then like paused a bit and reconsidered maybe get like apply for the Chase Sapphire Reserve then, rather than pushing myself over 524. So that's what I'd recommend.
And when you decide whether to open cards, are you also focused on the sign up bonus as much? It sounds like, we've been talking a lot about like the credits and perks, but is the sign up bonus something you're thinking about? Because you would have to plan like minimum spend toward it basically, right? Even though there's no annual fee.
Yeah, that is going to be a big thing. I feel like for a lot of military and college students and cadets in general, is that the minimum spend like is really hard to hit when we spend like no money, because we don't pay for our food either or housing. So there's like no spending going on here. But I do hit all the sign up bonuses on my card, and that's like my biggest pet peeve when I tell people about credit cards and they're like, oh yeah, I have all these cards, and I look at their MR points and it's like a couple thousand. And I was like, oh, you didn't hit the sign up bonus on the Amex Plat? That was like 150,000, and they're like, no. So
That's painful. That's awful. I want to ask you, so let's say you could design your dream Amex setup, and I'm going to go with Amex here specifically because they have those card caps where you have the 5 credit card cap and the 11 charge card cap, right? They're not technically charge cards anymore, but everyone calls them charge cards. So like the gold and the platinum. So let's say you could design your dream setup within Amex. So like maxing out all the 15 cards that you're allowed to have. What cards would you choose?
okay, so you've inspired me greatly in this area. If I could get 5 Amex Hilton Honors Aspires, I would do it.
Yes.
Yes. It is
What
just
about the
too good
Brilliant
right now?
What about the Bombly Brilliant?
I honestly haven't looked too much into the Bonvoy Brilliant. I definitely will look into that. Now that you mentioned it twice, I will definitely look into that. As for the other charge cards, I know someone at the academy who was prior enlisted, so they've been in the military longer than me, but they had, I think, 6 platinum cards.
Whoa.
And a green and a gold, and they had like everything from AMX built up. So multiple platinum cards, would look into it for sure. I'm still not so sure where the gold stands for me, because I don't see myself using too many of those benefits if I already have the platinum. So
That totally makes sense. I feel like if it was me, I would go with like probably 10 platinums. I mean, I could maybe do like 9 platinums and a gold just for the dining. But like when I think about it, like, oh, am I gonna really spend that much on the gold to outweigh the extra like full platinum perks? I would do 10 platinums.
That's a lot of
And
SAX
then-
credits.
A lot of SAX credit. Hey, I'll be living it up every 6 months. And that would be enough. You would actually be able to pay for a year-round Equinox membership with all the Equinox credits on that.
Oh, that's crazy.
So, and then I would do like 5 Aspires, and I would probably do 5 Aspires or maybe 4 Aspires and a Brilliant. It depends. That's honestly pretty on the credit card side. That's like pretty close to my current setup.
Have you looked into the Fine Hotels and Resorts? Have you used it, Jaden?
I have used it actually. It was when I came back recently. I believe it was for summer break this past summer. I went to the Conrad LA with my girlfriend, and I believe the net cost was about $60 after accounting for food and all that. So it was a nice little staycation in the city. So
That's great, especially with the $200 hotel credit. So cool. Also, you did mention that the annual fees are waived for personal cards. So what happens with business cards? Like, would you still have to pay the fees? How does that affect your strategy?
yes, so you still do have to pay for business cards. There are annual fees by Amex and Chase. Both of them do not waive it for business cards for military, and I think all the other issuers have the same policy probably. So with my Delta SkyMiles Gold with Amex, I did have the no intro annual fee. So I'm thinking I might like ask for a retention offer at the upcoming year, and then if it makes sense, keep it, and then that following year, then I'll cancel it probably, because that card does have a $99 annual fee. But another note on the annual fee waiver, the MLA does apply to authorized users as well. So that means I can have unlimited authorized users on all my cards that cost like normally $175.
Oh my God.
So I have 4 on my platinum, and they recently changed that rule too, on the annual fee for the platinum authorized users. And also, the MLA extends to spouses of active duty military. So if your spouse is in the active duty military, then you also get the free waiver. Same exact policy.
That's pretty insane. Like getting especially the authorized users on the pod, because you can have so many of those. And like that's nuts. That's insane. It's a shame that it's not on the business cards. I mean, I totally get why, but if it was on business, I'd be overpowered, because then you would be able to stay below 524 and still be getting all these cards.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like with your setup, like you're not prioritizing like multiplier stuff or like trifecta setups or whatever, which makes sense. I think this is, as Jaden said, you always have to do what like makes sense for you and your setup. I think too many people fall into like, I need to climb the credit card ladder, I need to set up my trifecta first before I move on, or I need to pick the card with the best multiplier based on my spend. That's just not necessarily the case.
Yeah, I wanted to actually throw something in. Tell me if I'm right on this. I heard that despite getting the annual fees waived, that if you're a military member, you can still get retention offers on the cards. So I heard like when your platinum anniversary comes up, you can ask for a retention and get a retention offer. Have you heard of that? Have you done that? Am I incorrect in that? But I heard it somewhere.
I actually have never asked for a retention offer yet, so that business card is going to be my first one, so I won't find out. But if that's true, I don't know who is abusing that, but that is insane.
I think some people I know someone in the server, I think he told me he was previously in the military, and he was getting retention offers on his platinum, which is absurd. I mean, you get a free platinum with all the credits, and then they'll comp you like 30,000-40,000 points for renewing it, which is just stupid.
I'm not sure if this applies to him, but the MLA does not work once you are no longer active duty. So if you're a veteran that was previously in the military, Amex has the power to or they will withdraw that benefit from you. So once you get out of the military, I guess that's when he might have asked for the retention offers. I'm not sure.
No, in this case, it was still when I think he was out of the military, but he was still registered on the, I don't want to
on the database.
I think he was, still getting the fees waived, because sometimes I heard it takes a few years. Sometimes.
I have heard that. Yes.
Yeah. So he was still getting the fee waived at this point. So
that's ridiculous.
I'm also curious if you would ever consider one of the the more top tier airline co-branded cards that come with the lounge access. For I think AA has one, United Club, those types of cards. I mean, would that fit into your travel pattern, or are you loyal to particular airline?
So I haven't looked too deeply into, I think it's the City AA. Is that the one you're talking about? I haven't looked far into that. Again, most military people I talk to are very, if they're into credit cards, very Chase and Amex focused, and most of them very, very, very Amex focused. So I haven't learned much, but City AA is on my list of cards to look out for. But I honestly am I'm a loyalist to Southwest. Because if you've ever flown Southwest, you'll hear after the A group is families and all the extra time and military. And it is just so great. I just flew back yesterday, and I was with another cadet, and getting on there, we were I don't know, maybe 10th row and window seat. So Southwest is amazing for military.
I guess you don't have to check in 24 hours. Sorry.
I still check in 24 hours just because, but yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I guess Southwest doesn't have its own lounges. I mean, I think the AA is worth looking into just because their miles are super valuable. You can fly to Japan, business class is 60,000 miles, first class is 80,000 miles. I mean, there are a bunch of other cool sweet spots. I know Chase United Club card would also give you the lounge access for United Clubs. I think it's like 550 annual fee or something, but for you that would be waived, I think. And then Delta also has a premium line on the Amex side. So maybe those are.
But you have to fly the specific airlines for each of those cards,
Yes.
right? So like that's the problem for me with all those. Like I would love to get, Admirals Club access or something, but if I have to fly AA to get that, like I don't want to fly AA. So that defeats the whole purpose. I don't know, that defeats to me a big portion of it, because it would almost be easier to try to like earn a partner airlines alliance status like internationally. So like, earning like One World Sapphire or something from an airline that's not based in the US, and then just adding that number to your like AA reservations, and then getting the lounge access for free. And then also getting, of course, like the One World Sapphire benefits of, priority check-in and all that.
And just to talk about those lounge access, I do want to get further into this later on some other benefits that don't necessarily have to do with credit cards, but you can like combine them. But lounges for military, you can actually get into a lot of them without having the credit card that you need. So for example, I just a couple weeks ago was at Denver again, and I was flying United, and I don't have any United status. This was my first time flying United in like 10 years, and I'm 19. So I was flying United, and the lounge is open to military who have a United boarding pass. That's all you need for the United Club. So I just went to the A concourse and just got in and ate some free food after going to the Centurion Lounge already. So
do you think it's better than the Centurion Lounge?
I do not. I think at Denver it's not even close. I guess the one argument you could have is that you would go to the Centurion Lounge first for the food, and then go to the United Club to chill out, because like I said, the Centurion Lounge is just filled with cadets and military, and so many people there, and the line is always like really long.
That is the most accurate lounge take I've ever heard. The Centurion lounges always are like packed, but they have supremely, like the food is supremely better than all the other lounges. I have not found a single lounge in the United States that like was a lounge that you could access with a credit card, other than Centurion Lounge, that had half decent food. They all have like horrible food, but Centurion Lounges, they may be packed, but the food is good.
Exactly.
Cool. So Jaden, do you have anything else you want to share, or should we wrap up? No pressure.
Yeah, I mean, I did want to talk about the new Amex sign-up bonus terms, and how that impacts like how we should think about signing up for credit cards. Like, should you go for gold first and then plat, especially if you're military and you have both those fees waived? Like, is that something that you think would be beneficial?
Yeah, so I think what Jaden is referring to is that American Express recently added language, whereas previously, like, for example, the platinum and the gold cards were independent products, so you can get the sign-up bonuses for both of them. Now there are certain restrictions. For example, the gold bonus is not available to anyone who has or has had the platinum card, but that restriction does not apply the other way. So, it would make sense to go for the gold first and then the platinum, so you can get theoretically both bonuses. Whereas if you start with the platinum, you're locked out of the gold bonus, basically. I mean, Jaden, are you facing this situation of being locked out the gold right now?
I'm not, because I'm not very interested in the gold right now, just because like I said, the plat and the gold, the benefits overlap a bit, and I'm not like in desperate need of the gold or its multipliers. I'm not really multiplier focused.
Yes, that totally makes sense. Given your situation, just get more platinums if you're going to get the gold. Like, the credits on the platinum that you would be getting, destroy the gold's credits. Like, even, okay, you lost on the sign-up bonus, but now your decision's easy. Like, if you're going to get another Amex charge card, platinum it is.
Yeah, definitely. And I was looking at some of the data points from the cadets, and I've met so many people who have gotten approved for an Amex plat with either just being an authorized user on someone's card or with no credit score. My roommate had no credit score, and they approved him for the plat instantly. And I was so confused. And another one of my friends applied for the plat, got denied, and called them. And he's like, yeah, I'm in the military. I don't really have a credit card. And I was like, okay, you're approved. And that was the whole conversation. So if people can get platinums as their first credit card, then this is a different game.
Do you know if the pop-up jail issue is a thing for military people? Because, like, one of my hesitations when I say you should go for gold and then plat, even though that is now the only strategy, is that I've seen so many data points online of people not being able to obtain a plat bonus after opening the gold with a higher offer or something. So I'm wondering if you or anyone you know has dealt with that experience.
Yeah, I definitely didn't think about that risk, but I haven't heard of anyone being in Papa jail just from the military people I'm surrounded by. But at the same time, most of them open a plat and they're done, and that's like the extent of their credit card. So, yeah.
I'm wondering, is it like when you find people in the military that haven't gotten into the credit card game yet, do you just see dollar signs? Because it's probably the easiest referrals you'll ever get. Because like all you have to tell them is, yeah, just get like these 6 cards, these 6 Amex Platinum cards, or like whatever card, you insert any card there, and they're like, oh yeah, I could get all these credits and I don't pay anything. There's no reason for them not to get it. And so like you're just like, yeah, use my referral link. Is that like, I wonder if there's this just massive referral farm of whoever can convince the most people to sign up for cards, because it's the easiest, conversation you'll have, and it's the easiest thing to convince them of, because it's like, oh, would you like, $1,000 a year in free credits or not? Like, your choice. You don't have to pay for it though.
Yeah, I feel like some people are, for some reason, like unreasonably suspicious of referral links. But especially for people in the military, when you tell them like, you can go to the Amex Lounge, and all of us are going to the Amex Lounge, and you see all your friends at the Denver airport every time they fly home, just eating free food every time, and eventually it catches up to you, like, maybe I should get Platinum card. And you're like, oh, here, use my referral link. And then now it's 4,000 people who live within a mile of each other who all have no annual fees, just referring each other to the card. So it gets pretty condensed.
It's pretty cool. I guess before we wrap up, maybe, Jaden, do you know why banks specifically cater to the military in terms of benefits to military members, to the bank, etc.?
Yeah, so in addition to just following like the Military Lending Act, which they're not even like technically following like in that sense, they're actually being more generous than the law needs you to. And besides like the public appearance and publicity and all that stuff, when you look at especially the service academies and cadets, what this rule is like recently extended to cadets, we are graduating with no debt and we have a guaranteed job. So it's like there's like very little risk for the banks there. Not particularly for credit cards, but also for loans and stuff like that. If you're at the academy, you do get a loan, I think like $30,000 loan at like 0.75% interest upon completing your second year that you can take. And that's like free money. They're losing money by giving you the loan, but it's because they know like you're going to stay with their bank, like USAA, and pay it back as you serve, which is your 5 years after graduation that you're guaranteed to be employed by the Air Force or Space Force. So another benefit that I did want to touch on was car rentals, because I'm 19, but I can rent a car because USAA just like has partnerships with all the car rental companies, and I've used that on top of the Amex benefits. So it's pretty amazing, some of the benefits that you can get by being in the military.
That is pretty insane because, yeah, if you're like below 21, it's like impossible. And then if you're between 21 and 25, they charge you a ton of fees. Unless like for certain car rental companies, like there's specific partnerships like with Hertz. If you use the AAA code, then you can get the young driver fee waived. But like for a lot of them, you can't do that. So that's pretty cool that you can actually like rent a car even below 21. Like that's a very nice perk.
Cool. Anything else you want to add or share?
I think that's it.
Cool. So thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please do give this video a like and subscribe. It greatly helps out our algorithm. Also, if you're interested in any of the cards we talked about today, or any card at all for that matter, please consider using the referral links in our description. It greatly helps support this channel. And Sean, why don't you plug our Discord?
Yeah, so if you want to connect with an elite group of credit card enthusiasts and award travelers, check out the 100% free Travel Lane Discord at the link in the description. Jaden is in there. That's how we met him for this podcast episode. You'll learn a ton, I promise, 100% for free. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.